Feedback Learnex. English forever.
The importance for an image is and will always be the need for man to communicate, a universal language. But what is behind each photo? What is the photographer's look, his feeling, his passion? Well, today on Feedback, we will talk about some photos that have marked history and remember the human being who marked this difference through his vision. Let's start with Herman Leonard. If someone has managed to condense into images the magic of live jazz, it's Herman Leonard. Author of some of the most iconic images of the genre, Leonard captured all the greats acting in the best places in New York and knew how to convey in his images the dark and loaded atmosphere of clubs such as Copacabana or even the Cotton Club. Steve McCurry. He is one of the most famous photographers on the planet. National Geographic's contributor McCurry is famous worldwide for taking the picture of the Afghan girl, a true icon of both refugees from around the world and the magazine itself. Barbara Bordnick. Born in the Bronx, New York, Barbara Bordnick, a fashion photographer and internationally renowned portrait, began her career in Copenhagen and Paris before reopening a studio in New York in 1969, where her photography at Harper's Bazaar began to be acclaimed. Throughout her career, she has received countless honors and awards for her work in film and printing. Carl Fischer, self-taught photographer, opened a studio in New York and produced work that won numerous awards, such as the Mark Twain Journalism Award. His portraits of Southern segregationist leaders were shown at the photo essay exhibition at the Museum of Modern Arts in 1972, and his photographs for Esquire covers were exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art in New York in 2008 to 2009. His masterpiece is that of Muhammad Ali in 1967. Harry Benson. Harry Benson has become one of the most famous photographers of the 20th century. Raised in Scotland during World War II, Benson sought refuge behind the camera's lens, dreaming of another life. His images of celebrities, politicians, and royalty capture the spirit of an era, as well as the temperament of unique personalities. Benson's books, published by Taschen, include a publication dedicated to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, and an incredible book with her photographs of the Beatles. Pillow Fight references at the George V Hotel. Bob Gruen. Gruen was born in New York City. He began in the world of photography working with artists such as Bob Dylan and John Lennon, becoming the latter's personal photographer during a stay in New York. Lennon's photograph wearing a shirt with the New York City logo is perhaps Gruen's most recognized. Other renowned bands and artists he has worked with include the New York Dolls, The Clash, Ramones, Patti Smith Group, Blondie, Led Zeppelin, The Who, David Bowie, Tina Turner, Elton John, Kiss, Alice Cooper, and Green Day. Nick Ut. Nick Ut, the photographer who went down in history because of his image of the Nepalese girl during the Vietnam War, maintains a frantic activity despite his retirement after a career that began covering military conflicts. After taking that snapshot, Ut helped save the girl's life by taking her to the nearest hospital, and since then both have maintained contact over the years. Douglas Kirkland. Douglas Kirkland felt intensely interested in photography from the age of 14 when he lived in a small town called Fort Erie near Buffalo, New York. He received a speed graphic camera and went around the city photographing everything from hockey games to babies through passport photos, and at age 24, he became famous for his 1,961 photos of Marilyn Monroe, taken for the 25th anniversary edition of Look. Thomas D. Mangelsen, American wildlife photographer and conservationist known for his color photography of wildlife in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, has been active in the movement to keep brown bears in the Yellowstone area off the list of endangered species. A photograph he took in 1988, entitled Capture of the Day, has been labeled the world's most famous wildlife photography. David Doubilet. He is a well-known underwater photographer known primarily for his work published in National Geographic magazine. A shoal of barracudas surrounds Dina Halstead. In Milne Bay, Papua New Guinea, barracuda banks often form circles in the sea as defense behavior. As you can see from this week's edition of Feedback Learnex, an image is worth 1,000 words. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition and stay tuned next week, 9:15 p.m. on Thursday, as we delve into our new topic, ESL at Learnex.
Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Estamos en sintonía. Feedback Learnex, English Forever.